Ladies and gentlemen, here is a look at the Grays Harbor Raceway located in Elma, Washington. This dirt track absolutely screams the Pacific Northwest. Now the size of this racetrack, it is a 3/8 mile on the dot. It's the biggest dirt track we have in the Pacific Northwest and probably one of the widest. Got really consistent banking bottom to top, and I would say this place races best in a 410. They run limiteds here on a weekly basis and also 360s, but because of how wide it is and how the banking just shelves off a tiny bit, with all 900 horsepower, you can get right up here by the fence. And with some of the best 410 sprint car drivers in town with high limit, I think this evening's show is going to be a good one. So in just a little bit, we'll be getting in our driving suits. We'll have engine heat, a chance just to fire up our race cars, and then we'll roll right into hot laps and qualifying, be on the clock, and that qualifying run will basically set up the rest of our night. We're just getting the car all warmed up so we can go on track and get to full speed. One thing worth noting, of course, as a team, we're feeling really good. We're coming off a good run at Douglas County Dirt Track, my career best with high limit, third and on the podium. Obviously, that's big for all of us, confidence booster, and shows that we can run with these guys, but every night is also a new night. So we're just attacking it with a good mindset and just trying to do everything right, cross our T's, dot our I's, and be in the right spot at the right time. But car's fired up. They're gonna start calling us for hot laps and then right into qualifying. That's important with this format. You gotta lay down a good lap.
You see on the racetrack, it'll be qualifying presented by Capital Customers.
So qualifying is complete, off to a little bit of a slow start. How I always look at things is, in wing sprint car racing, where you go out for qualifying definitely matters. Your pill draw, sometimes it can help you, sometimes it can hurt you. And then, rarely, or depending on the field and the amount of cars, it kind of stays pretty even throughout qualifying, and then everyone has a solid chance at being quick time. Tonight at Grays Harbor, definitely the earlier you went out, the better, especially like the last few cars, like they had no chance even to just sneak into the top 20. So we ended up 17th quick. We went out right in the middle. How I look at a situation like this was like, how much time did we leave on the table? What could we have done different? And I would say we probably left 2 to 3 tenths out there if we laid down a perfect lap. That's kind of the difference in 17th and just being inside the top 10. It would have been very difficult for us to go quick time as the track started to slow down, but probably just got caught running a little too high on the track. Just basically made the track longer. Just kind of tried to be buried in the grip to create drive, and I wasn't able to get down the straightaways. So I carried good speed to the center. I just lost it, as the straightaways are actually almost slicker in the corner than spots. So you literally get to the straights and it's like you're on ice and you almost slow down. Obviously qualifying's big, so we don't, we're not happy with where we're at. That sucks that we're, a little now behind the 8 ball, but at the same time, circumstances also played a factor into that. But like I said, we just have to do the best that we can do. So if I could have ran a little bit of a different lap, maybe we could have been a snug tighter as the track's slickening off. That would have helped. But now we're going to roll into a heat race. I believe we're going to be rolling off from the 3rd row. They should be transferring 6 to tonight's A. But if we can make up some ground here, if we pass cars, that's going to help our starting position later in the night. So here's the update on the night. Ran 7th in the heat race, missed the transfer by 1. Absolutely should have been able to get in there. I had 6th at one point. It wasn't ideal starting on the outside. The track turned into a 1 lane around the bottom. I don't know. My opinion, I feel like we're running too early in the day. The track's slicking it off so fast. The sun's just beating down on it, and then once everyone migrates down low, the whole track's so dirty. So that's frustrating. Starting on the outside, like I said, wasn't ideal. So I fell back from 6th to 7th, then I got into 6th, and I should have been able to hold it, but I just didn't. I don't know. As the track changed, you know, we qualified, felt okay, and there in the heat race, I don't really think we were better. We tightened up a lot. We're almost so tight, like it's tough and finicky to make the corner. Like we're getting our car bound up. We're not making speed. I made one mistake in 3 and 4 and slipped off the bottom and didn't transfer to the show, which you can't have that. We don't want to be in B main events. So just frustrating, but we're going to make a pretty significant change here to work on balance and get this thing to roll around. Like I said, just with some more speed, but we got a B main event coming up next. I think they're going to be transferring 6th, and I'm sure the track's only going to continue slickening off. Like I said, it's still warm, sun's beating on the surface, and there's no grip anywhere. I'm glad I made up for, you know, I could have got through my heat race there, but glad that we got into the B. Not any passing. I kind of expected the inside lane to go. I just got in protect mode really quick. I was right behind Corey, was next to me. I kind of thought maybe we would be able to like mix it up a little bit. I figured McFadden would get out front, but depending on how we all shook out, maybe I could have passed a car or two, or at least followed Corey to 3rd. But man, everyone kind of just single filed and we were all about the same speed, which I mean is exactly how the heat race was, so I'm not acting surprised. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We finished 4th. Car felt better than the heat race. Like I was more stuck, but not so tight. But I still was probably running just conservative, kind of closing my entry, not making as much speed as I needed to. And now in the A, we don't really have anything to lose. So we're gonna make some adjustments. We're gonna be rolling off from deep, but glad we are at least in the show. Now we gotta try to make something of it. So we're rolling off 22nd here out of 24 cars. We obviously have a long road ahead of us. The track tonight has been literally less than ideal. So we kind of tried to take a swing at it here I mean, I think our car would be okay on the bottom, but we're trying to make our car better in those, you know, the 2nd or 3rd groove. I think if everybody's down low, we're gonna have to go somewhere to pass them. You're not just gonna go single file and pass a bunch of cars. So we kind of took a swing at it. We have nothing to lose here. We already start in the back, so hopefully, you know, this kind of works out for us. We can just kind of be a little risky. Probably gonna start with our wing forward because the track, since they did work it, it's gonna have a little bit of grip, but I also think it's gonna blow off. I guess we'll just see what happens. Like I said, we're kind of in a spot here where we're down. We just have to throw something at it and try to run a good 30-lap race, and also keep in mind that our tires might have to conserve a little bit because everyone's tires already are pretty shaken up from qualifying. You have to run the same right rear, and the feature is probably going to be pretty hard on them as well. So maybe at the end of the race, guys might, you know, be losing them. So anyway, 2nd horn, we got to roll out. So we ran about half the A main event there. I just pulled in once I got lapped. I wasn't going anywhere. They weren't. I mean, it was one of those deals, like I started so far in the back. We tried to make the car better. I think we would have been good in the second half of the race. That's why I was trying to fight so hard to stay on the lead lap, and I was charging the top, and like I said, it just didn't really matter. I mean, if I stay out there, once you're a lap down, you're just using up your methanol, using up your fuel, and you know, you're just using up your stuff. So it sucked. I didn't want to. I wanted to run the whole race, and I thought if I got past a couple guys, but I just couldn't make it work. Like we got tight enough to where we, like I said, probably been good the last 5-10 laps. Had my wings shoved forward, but we were just a little bit too much on that side to where we, like I said, I couldn't get rotated enough, couldn't make enough speed. I mean, I could, but I just at certain points I wasn't stuck enough, and I wasn't stuck enough because I was too tight trying to get it rotated. I was having to do too much in the cockpit, so that sucked. It just it blew off. It just took half the race. Anyway, so just a disappointing night in Grays Harbor in the sense of just everything, like not just like our performance or nothing. I mean, I felt like we were dealt we weren't dealt the greatest hand. We could have made more of it, but at the same time, it just what the racetrack was until the feature when it finally was a little bit racier. So at that point, when you have no track position, it's hard to make something of it, and you got to definitely be perfect. And we tried to go extreme and tried to give ourselves a chance. If it was good, it was going to be really good, and if it wasn't going to work. So just walking up to the track as we wrap up our night here at Grays Harbor Raceway. The modifieds went after us, so the track looks a little bit different, but by the end of the feature, it did widen back out, and it was a little slicker than this. Like I said, those guys kind of chunked it up and brought some moisture back. Yeah, the track at the end of the race, you know, and I would say midway through, seemed like it got a little bit racier. It was kind of fast at the beginning, of course, because they did work it, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I probably don't have a crazy amount to say. I just wish we had a better surface from the drop of the green. I wish qualifying, maybe it would have stayed a little more even, then given us a chance in the heat races to pass. Even if you qualify where we did, but like in the heat race, we had a chance to run multiple lines, but it just turned in, my saying is, turned into like a bad go-kart race. Like when everyone's just single file around the bottom, and it was like that all the way up until the A main event, the dash, the B main, every single heat race. I mean, like I said, if you actually went out later than me in qualifying, I felt bad for, you know, the 12 or 13 guys after me. It slowed down even more. I think there was only a car or two that actually qualified better. Everyone else just got slower and slower and slower. See, I don't know, they just weren't able to, you know, I said if this place is right, it's really good, but it just, early on, it just wasn't. So, like I said, they got it a little better for the feature, and then for us, by that point, we are so far buried, and, you know, don't get me wrong, we could have made a run tonight. There were some guys that did pass some cars from the back, and we just weren't able to get our race car, I feel like, in the right spot and have things play out our way, and so that's on us. But yeah, I don't know, just kind of just a bad feeling after we had such a good night at Roseburg, you know, earlier in the week. And sometimes that's how things fall. So that's big time auto racing, as you would say. Anyway, on to the next one. Just want to give a big shout out to my partners, my team, my family. We will keep digging. Glad that, I mean, granted, there wasn't that many cars that went home, but glad we got in the show tonight. That's always big. For our operation, as we're trying to build, like, you cannot miss shows. That's a huge loss in purse money. So to at least get start money and get some laps and keep building, that's you know, at least the bare minimum for the night. But Grays Harbor, we will see you in the next one. We don't have any more races here this year, but I'm sure that we will be back, as this is one of the staples of the Pacific Northwest, and there's always a couple big stops here each season. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for riding along with me for the journey through the ups, in the downs. One night you're a hero, next night you're zero, and you just got to keep on digging. So thanks. We'll see you in the next one. Deuces.